So when I was on my Erasmus year abroad, I visited a lot of beautiful places, and one of the things that Erasmus really allowed me to do was realise how much I loved that. So when I came back to the UK, I was very upset to be back, and I decided that I wanted to visit some of the beautiful places that are in the UK and do some of these things in the UK that I talked about to my friends in Italy and in France. I realised there were so many things back here in England that I had taken for granted and that I never really made the most of. And this was one of those things. This is Lulworth Cove. And I would speak so excitedly about this beautiful place that was just an hour away from my hometown. And my friends would ask me, wow, do you go there a lot? And honestly, I wasn't sure whether I had ever been. Certainly not since I was very little. So when I arrived back at home, I started to plan this trip. I have a car, and I started to invite some of my friends, and my plan was to catch the sunrise over the bay. But my friends at first were excited, and then, they got busy or they got distracted. And so I thought to myself, why don't I just go by myself? And that's a bit of what I wanted to talk about today. I feel like there's this perception in our society that doing things alone makes us lonely or means that we're lonely. But the truth is, I love being alone. Maybe not all of the time. But when I find myself talking about doing something by myself, I feel like the reaction is usually negative. And even talking to myself sometimes, my thoughts in my own head sometimes trick me into this little puddle of self-pity where I settle down for a cosy evening alone in my flat. And I think that that's a sad thing to do. But why? I don't think there's anybody that would want to be with someone else 24/7. So why shouldn't I go on an adventure by myself? I think that if we could all learn to enjoy our own company a bit more and treat ourselves to something because we deserve it every so often, I have a feeling that the world would be a much better place.